Today we're talking about 7 big features that are still missing in College Football 26 Dynasty Mode. And we're not going to be talking about bug fixes or tweaks or small little things. We're talking about big things that are still not in this game that people have been clamoring for. And trust me, number 6 is going to have you screaming, how is this not in the game yet? Let's get into it. Let's kick it off with something that hardcore Dynasty players have been missing for years. The spring game is needing to come back. Back in the day when we had NCAA Football 07 all the way through NCAA Football 11, you could actually play the full spring scrimmage. This is really an important thing for anybody in Dynasty Mode. You can test out your new freshmen. The transfer portal was such a big thing in College Football 26. You kind of want to see if those guys really have what it takes, or if you need to maybe focus on some other guys in your team. And when you have position battles, that's a massive part. You want to see how your QB1 battles versus your QB2, seeing if the guy that has a little bit more speed is worthwhile playing over the guy that's maybe more of a pocket passer, or maybe there's 2 guys that are similar that you just want to see, are they really worth it in a real setting, not just the practice mode. And this really gives EA an opportunity to blow out practice mode 2 to this spring game, because practice mode is solid, being able to test out your plays against different style of plays or random plays for the offense or defense, but it needs to be more. We need to be able to go up and down the field, and the spring game would really kind of give us that option. But the biggest thing for the spring game is it really helps put into context the redshirt decisions that you have to make, and they have to be way more strategic now. Do you miss putting your new guys to test in a spring game? Because I know that I definitely do. Drop a comment down below and let me know. And if you're enjoying this content and other content on my channel, just know that we are trying to get to 300,000 subs before the end of the year, and subscribing is free, so if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and help me out. One of the best parts about the college football game is that you have these players that you either recruit or are already on your team, and you have them through their 3, 4, maybe even 5 years of the redshirted, and then they're kind of gone into the abyss. We don't have the ability to export draft classes anymore to Madden. Recruiting is great, but still has a couple of holes. You can't actually even create a recruit anymore. And one of the big ones that's really missing here, in my opinion, is that we have no bowl opt-outs for NFL-bound players. This is just a crazy thing to me, because that is something that, with how good the transfer portal is, that would just add another layer to this game. But a key feature that we used to have in the older games is the promise system. Now, the promise system is great because you could literally make a promise to a specific recruit if they were looking to transfer out. And it was up to you to really make sure that you held up your end of the bargain. So if your star player was looking to leave you to go to a bigger school, you could say like, hey, listen, if you come back, I can guarantee we're winning a national championship, or I can guarantee I'll get you to be a first-round draft pick. Now, sometimes those promises would work and get that player to come back, and then it's really up to you. But sometimes even the promise of being a first-round draft pick or a Heisman or a national championship would not be good enough, because that player just maybe hated you that much. But if you did get that player to actually come back to your school, it was up to you to make sure that you met that promise. And if you didn't, that impacted your coach prestige. And I think coach prestige is pretty solid right now, but it's only based off really your wins, your losses, the awards you win, if you can actually go out and win a national championship or a conference championship, and as you level up your coach, that's all fine and dandy, but we need the other side of the game too. Not having the promise system is really just making the coach prestige element just feel empty. Promising a recruit early playing time or a big rivalry game spotlight, it actually mattered back then, but now it's just not there. And we have coach trust in Road to Glory, which is a great feature, and it's cool to be there, but we really want that direct connection in Dynasty Mode 2. I want to be able to go out and say, look, I'm landing this 5-star running back. I want to tell him that you are getting the rock all the time. You're going to be out there as a freshman getting Maurice Claret type carries and then deliver on that, and that should really help me as a coach make other players want to come play for me. For number 3, we have no medical red shirts being in the game, and I think some people would maybe feel that this isn't a major feature, but when you think about how much attention the EA Sports has really put on the wear and tear feature, not having medical red shirts or expanding the injury system just feels a little crazy to me. We've all been there if you're playing Dynasty Mode where you have a big player and they get a big injury and they might tear an ACL, for example, or have a broken back vertebrae and be gone for the entire season. And now you just wasted the entire year for that player. And in College Football 26, not having that medical redshirt option definitely hurts you. But if this were to happen in real life, like it does every single year, players can apply for a medical hardship waiver to preserve a year of eligibility, but in game, you can't really do that. There's a lot of ways that EA could go about it. I could see it where you could have this if you're in a multi-user dynasty, maybe applying for that medical hardship, and the commissioner gets to decide. I could see it being applied and maybe the game decides on sort of a dice roll on whether they get that medical hardship or not. There's a lot of different ways that EA can really go about it, but not having a medical red shirt when this game is putting wear and tear and injuries and all those things are kind of compounding, that just feels like a big miss that I think EA needs to fix. Number 4 is a big one as we have no major presentation upgrades. And don't get me wrong, there were presentation upgrades that were done and a lot of things that made the game feel good and felt like a good polish, but we need really the big parts of Dynasty that everybody cares about. There's no college game day, there's no halftime shows, there's no Heisman ceremony. In the college football football playoff selection is one of the biggest moments of the year, it's just a static screen that we get. We've had games in the past from EA way back when I was a kid that made these games really have these moments feel really special. Like, can you imagine a college game day rolling into your campus after a top 10 win? That would just be electric. And at the same time, I know this is a really big resource ask from EA to sort of dive in and bring all these things to us, but look at what Madden is doing from a presentation standpoint. We have multiple different presentation visual packages that are coming to Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and then your generic package they have as well. The Heisman ceremony is just a weird thing. It doesn't update until week 4. I feel like they maybe shouldn't even show us the Heisman ratings or rankings until that point. But then you just get a screen that pops up, and it's cool when you win it, but I love a little bit of drama there. And we've seen in the Madden franchise that they have the ability to have these players come up on a stage and do these things. You can do a very similar thing with the Heisman presentation, and I think people will be really excited to see that. Because when you really think about it, the amount of work it takes to get a Heisman candidate in the game is really tough, and your work should really pay off. I want the surprise of seeing my guy getting selected, or I want the drama of him being there, being ready in his suit, and then he doesn't get the Heisman. And the college football selection day just feels like a big miss not having in the game too. We need the drama of that. College football is really a sport built entirely around drama now that I think about it. And having that ceremony, see your team get their slide, get their official seating, even though you're watching it throughout each week with the bracket, representation of where they think it should be or where it's estimated to be, that final ranking and seeing where you go after all the games play out, that's just cinema. What it all boils down to is that we just want the spectacle back for college football. And these are lofty expectations and lofty goals, but this is a game that has really brought a lot of great things to us, and so we want to raise the bar. And speaking of raising the bar, today's video sponsor, Underdog, is raising the bar. They aren't just for pick 'em anymore. Underdog is also the easiest place to play fantasy football. Listen, Best Ball Mania 6 is the largest fantasy football tournament of all time. It's only $25 to enter for your shot at $15 million in total prizes and a first place prize of $2 million. Now, if you use my link down below in the description so you can use code GGB, they'll hook you up with a couple of things, but let me talk about how simple it is. All you got to do is just draft your team, and Underdog is going to set your best lineup each week. You don't have to worry about waivers, no trades. You just set it and then you forget it, which is the best way to play. Now, it's available in over 40 states, including Georgia, Missouri, and Texas, but just again, make sure you use promo code GGB when you sign up to claim your new customer offer, and you can download the app today and start drafting your lineup as simple as today. Use code GGB when you sign up. At number 5, let's talk about JUCO players and how they are basically irrelevant in the game. I mean, let's be honest, do any of you even bother with recruiting JUCOs in college football 26? Because I tried it first and then I realized that my time is best spent elsewhere. They come in rated pretty low. They really only have 2 or 3 years eligibility if you're really lucky at that point, and they barely progress before you actually get them to graduate. And in most of the leagues or people that I've seen, they are just kind of skipping them entirely. People are calling them useless, their words, not mine, but I got to admit, they kind of are in the current iteration of the game. But think about real college football and how often we see a real JUCO player come out and we're like, oh, this is the guy you have to watch out for. Or the transfer portal comes out and you're like, hey, there's a big JUCO player that's coming that you need to be aware of. And if you're someone who thinks that maybe JUCOs really aren't that worth it, I mean, there are players that have come from JUCOs and been great NFL players as well. Cam Newton, while he did start at Florida, goes to a JUCO, comes back, goes to Auburn, and has one of the greatest college football seasons potentially ever. Tyreek Hill started D1 when JUCO and then came back. Aaron Rodgers at Butte Community College as well. You've got multiple guys like Gardner Minshew, Alvin Kamara, Ramondre Stevenson. You have talent that's come from the JUCO level, and every year we see someone there, but in this game, it's just not currently represented. We need JUCOs to be better, we need them to be more impactful, and we need them to really be a part of this experience in Dynasty Mode. Now, I teased at the beginning, but number 6 is building up a program, facilities, stadiums, and staff. This is probably the biggest one out there. Whenever I talk about this one, it stings probably the most. You think about your scenario where maybe you just won your first natty or won back-to-back national titles. You've officially built a dynasty, but guess what? You can't upgrade your stadium. You can only have 15,000 people that are pouring in there. You can't pour money into your facilities now. You can't hire a top-notch strength coach or build a nutrition program or really just turn your program around even more so. Dynasty Mode in College Football 26 has given us a lot of really good things, but there is just so much room to expand deeper. It is screaming for deeper program management. We want budget systems. We want stadium expansion, staff upgrades. All those things would be great, but I also believe in letting people play how they want to play, so make sure that these are things that could be turned off for people that don't want to use them, just kind of like what NBA 2K's My League does, where you can select certain things you want or don't want in your program. But fans been begging for these things for years. Imagine building an 80,000 seat stadium brick by brick, but then also having to make sure that you're putting those butts in the seats and you're still having a winning program. or else your program could really get rid of you because they're like, hey, this dude just made us do all this and he's not holding up his end of the bargain. But we already have our ability to hire an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, being able to pull in a trainer as well, with wear and tear being such, again, an important part of this game to help manage those injuries, to upgrade our facilities so that maybe guys are a little bit more injury resilient, or we could focus it on a position. All of these things help tell a story in Dynasty Mode. And that's what Dynasty Mode ultimately is, a story for all of us to tell. But we're just missing a lot of different tools to tell the best story possible that we want to do. And number 7 might be the most talked about one that I have seen in the comments, in people tweeting at me or sending me Instagram messages. Equipment needs a massive overhaul. And when we talk about gear, it is rough out there. We don't have the ability to have mismatched socks, but again, some schools maybe don't want that. There's no team colored visors, no custom face masks. The equipment options honestly kind of just feel dated at this point, and people are genuinely not happy. If you look at any forum or Twitter thread, or even look at the viral hashtag that was going live, people are lighting it up with complaints in that particular area, and I honestly think they're right. Football players are the guys that you don't really see their actual face a ton, unless they are one of the premier players. If you line up 50 general NFL or college players, most people can't even tell them apart from other people because, again, they're wearing a helmet 90% of the time. And this is why a lot of college players really lean into what they have out there. They want to have their swag. They want more customization. And as players, we should be wanting more control on the equipment and just more options out there. I mean, the amount of times people have tweeted at me talking about one-leg sleeves or posting comments about that. I get it. I know that you want it, but we just need EA to do a massive overhaul for both College Football 26 and Madden 26 and giving equipment options that are out there. I know people want dangling mouthpieces. That's probably tough because it would be physics-based, but I get you, I hear you, and I agree. EA has to do more in the College Football 27 role and on about bringing us equipment that matters so that we can have our Road to Glory players and our Dynasty players and just our programs in general looking like what we see out there in real life. But with that being said, I'm actually curious, what is your #1 accessory wish for College Football 27? Drop that in the comments down below. And that's what I've got for my 7 big things that it feels like we're missing in Dynasty Mode. And I feel like College Football 26 did a pretty good job, but 27's got to take it up a notch. EA has taken some good steps overall, but there is definitely still a long road ahead. But what is the one thing from this list or your own personal list that you want the most in College Football 27? Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you were brand new, and let's keep pushing to make sure we get the game that we all want coming into College Football 27. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. I'll catch you guys on the next one.